excited for the launch of Sherry's K-Drama Club. This is our first video, our first review. Today we're going to review Crash Landing on You, which is one of my all-time favorites. I think it's always going to be special. And on the reviewing panel with me, I have my best friend Nandini, who is responsible for my K-drama obsession and who got me to watch CLOY. Pooja Dhingra, everybody's favorite baker, who is also obsessed with K-dramas. And Masoom, you guys all know she's obsessed with fashion, but did you know she's also obsessed with K-dramas? Hi guys!
Hi, Sherry.
Hi, we're finally doing this.
We're finally doing this, okay? So, you know, the first question is, how did you discover CLOY? I obviously owe everything to Nandini because she's the one who is responsible for the beginning of this club and for my K-drama obsession. And I have to admit that I mocked her a lot for the longest time. And she was like, I'm watching this show and I can't sleep. And I was like, Nand, like, what are you doing? Like, why are you so into this Korean stuff? And then here we are.
Here we are.
So, Nand, do you want to get us started with how did you discover CLOY?
So I'm really guilty of how I discovered CLOY. I was stalking this one acquaintance that Sherry and I mutually stalk on Instagram, and we realized I'm not going through this alone, Scherezade. I'm dragging you down as well. So I realized that this person was addicted to CLOY. And I decided that it was 3 months into the lockdown, and I said, why not? Let me see what it's all about. And then I went through the first episode, and I just couldn't stop. So that's how I discovered, basically, by stalking my stalking skills, and then I was hooked. But I stopped. That's where I stopped.
Yeah, she's actually stopped at CLOY, guys. She has stopped at CLOY. Yeah. She has managed to do impossible.
Yeah, I didn't dare watch another after that, but I actually stopped, and I realized I just threw Sherry into this world where she can't get out of.
It's a dark hole once you start. I don't know how you stop.
I'm so scared.
It's the most beautiful hole like I've ever discovered.
Pooja, how did you start?
Actually, my school friend introduced me to it as well. So, we share recommendations.
So is this everyone's first K-drama? Was my first, Nan's first,
Yes.
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah. So we've all been introduced to this world through CLOY.
Yeah. And so we watch these shows and she's like, oh, the lead in this is very cute. The lead in that is very cute. So she's like, watch this, and I was like, okay, fine, let's start. And same, like the first episode, and I was like, oh my God, what have I gotten myself into? And yeah, for me, I didn't stop. I'm on my 12th or 13th one now.
Yeah, even me. I think we're on the same. Like Pooja and me keep going one by one, and we're like, what are you watching? What are you watching? What are you watching? Masoom, what about you?
So I actually, a common friend, Malika, Pooja, I don't know whether she recommended it to you as well, but she told me about it, and I was like, really? I was so confused. But then I kept seeing Sherry's stories about it. And then I feel like, when you hear something and then someone else confirms it and then a lot of people are talking about it, I'm like, okay, this has got to have something. And again, it was lockdown. I was just looking for something to be addicted to. But I have to be honest, the first episode did not grasp my attention so much. It took me a while to get addicted, but by halfway through the second episode, I was all in.
I think it's also the language, na? Because I think initially you're getting used to it, and then you're like, it's still like, yeah, let me get into it, and then it's just like...
Yeah. No, and I also have a lot of trouble focusing on one thing wholeheartedly. That's why I'm a great multitasker. But in K-dramas, your full attention, you're immersed in the show because your eyes are there, your ears are there, because you need to read subtitles. And I feel like that's also the reason we get so addicted.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so Masoom, sum up the show in a few words. Like, what are your thoughts on the show?
I just feel like it was kind of it was just diving into this world, which was very sweet, very honest, very, the storytelling was just, it's rare to see something so honest. And I think that's truly what, got me. And the characters, I have never watched something in my life where I have fallen in love with every supporting actor and actress. Every character, small to big, I was like, oh my God, I felt like their friend.
Pooja, what about you?
Oh man, it made me believe in love again. Like that's,
Oh.
I mean, when you're jaded and single in your, mid-30s, living in Bombay, you're like, this is it. You're never going to meet anyone, which might all be very true. But then you watch something like this, and you're like, okay, there is some hope. I mean, it's complete fantasy world, but it gave me hope.
None?
So I agree with Masoom. I found every character, I really loved most of the characters. And I loved the various subplots. I think that kept me really, hooked. Like Dan, Ree's fiance, Captain Ree's fiance, and the other guy who had come to North Korea. And I like the subplot about that rat, the guy who used to keep
Yeah.
listening into conversations, and the mystery behind Captain Ree's dead brother. So I was just like really sucked into every subplot, and
And you even
soldiers,
loved the
the
villain.
soldiers,
You loved the villain. I remember you telling me when we
oh
discussed it.
yeah,
You
I
said,
thought he
love
was
the
such
villain.
a fantastic actor, and I was actually a little scared of him. Like each time he came back, I was like, oh god, he's back. So I found it. That's why I'm telling you, I dare not watch another K drama because
No,
I
you
got
have
really
to.
invested. But
My aim
why
with
would
this
you-
video
once
is to
you
get her back into the world.
I will,
And once you-
but I have 2 little kids, so I really have to, plan my K drama strategy because I don't want to neglect them for another 3 weeks again.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, you have to plan because each episode is basically a movie.
Yeah, it's like a life. I mean, for me, I felt like the show, it was just this unadulterated love. Like, I watched it right after watching Indian matchmaking, which, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, when you watch that, you are like you've lost all hope, and then you're like, oh my god, wow, there is love in this world. And this is exactly what happens when I watch K-drama. This boy will not let me watch. He gets so annoyed. He started stomping onto my iPad saying, stop this shit. Like, you cannot ignore me and watch this. Like, Mars is a K-drama hater, clearly. So yeah, for me, it was full unadulterated love. Like, I just felt like when you're watching it, you feel that love. Like, I don't know, I just felt like, oh my god. And the sobbing, like, I've never sobbed the amount I sobbed with this show in my life. Like,
And I
please tell
think
me
So
I was
I
not the only
cried
person.
once.
I cried.
I don't know.
I cried a lot.
Yeah, you did.
It's also the music, right? Like
Yes.
the music just stuck with me for so long. Like every time, like this and this is a theme with all K dramas, right?
Yeah.
Because this was
Yeah,
my first
yeah.
one. I didn't know what to expect, but just all of it, it stayed with me at least for a long time, even after the show was done.
And you feel so invested now. You're like, oh my god, like kiss, 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 kiss. Like, it's like, I'm like almost like they're my friends.
And they take so long to kiss. I'm just like, why are you waiting for so many episodes? And this is every K drama.
Yeah.
They're like,
yeah.
it's so PG-13.
But guys, you know what has happened to me? Because now each K drama is an hour long, and it takes them around the 8th episode in every drama is when they actually kiss or hold hands.
Yeah.
I was watching some new some Hollywood love story thing, a movie on Netflix, and within the first 10 minutes, it's like they've gone on their second date and they're like making out, and I was like, no. I was like, how do you even know you like her? That's not true.
This
Like
is not love.
exactly. Like it bothered me so much. I was like, this is too soon. You guys are
And
moving
how they like decide to get married and all without kissing also. Like, that's the best part. Like, in all these K-dramas, like, they're like fully invested and they're in and they're like, yeah, I want to spend the rest of my life with you, but I've never kissed you.
But I think in CLOY particular, I mean, that's the only show K drama I've watched. I feel the chemistry between Yoon, Seri, and Ree is insane as actors. So maybe that's
Okay,
what,
so speaking of the chemistry, do you guys think they're a real couple? There are major rumors that they're a real couple. So what are your thoughts?
I don't doubt it.
yeah.
I think they are
They are.
because the chemistry
Guys, we
was
have to believe that they
like
are.
insane. Like, it was quite insane. I mean, like, I think that was partly why it was so insane. But like, I mean, sadly they are. Sadly.
Also, like, I think a major part
Cherry is
of
really he looked very young, by the way.
He's not. He's
No,
our
he's
age.
30. He's
young.
30 something.
He's
36,
36.
37.
He's 6
Yeah.
feet, 6'2". I've done my
Okay.
research.
I like her sharing. I'm like, no. She's 37. He's 38. They're born on this day. We know everything.
I mean, I've done some major stalking. Okay. Okay. Next up on my list, I have favorite scenes. Okay, I'm gonna start. My absolute favorite is that when he drops her to the border and then he says, I can't take another step is not allowed or whatever. And then he says, screw that, and he walks and kisses her. And that was, I think, my favorite scene. Like, my heart was like racing, like almost like I was like, oh my god, no, don't let her go. Like, for me, that was my favorite scene. What about you guys?
Yeah, I think for me as well, that was pretty much up there with the whole falling in love with that whole aspect of it. But what I actually really enjoyed was the soldiers, the five of them, and the chemistry that they shared, and how invested they were with her as well. And there's one scene right in the end when they all are sitting and listening to like the conversation that's happening in the hospital room. And they're like animated, and I just felt like just the whole, like, so like you said, like each cast member, like I think I was so invested in. So I really enjoyed that scene as well.
Masoom, what about you?
Was the part where he goes into the bedroom and he goes like, and he's like, he can't figure out the heart. And he's so vulnerable.
And his pout where he's like,
never lets his guard down. Yeah, and they show him as someone who's, so broken, but still so collected through the show. And in this moment, he's just like this young boy who's obsessing over his crush, and it's just such an innocent, candid moment. But also, like Pooja said, the part with the soldiers, like I was obsessed with them as much as like Yoon Sari and this one. I was literally obsessed. Every time they sat around the table and they made fun of Shari, I can't remember the guy who was like mean in the beginning. So I feel like even the part where, him and Yoon Sari had like this really cute like friendship chemistry going on, that was also my favorite. What about you, Nandini?
So actually, I think it's that first episode where she falls off the tree into his arms.
In his arms.
Yeah. And then when he runs and then he rescues her and brings her back to his house, that entire first episode, I really loved it. And as I said, I loved the scenes between Dan and that other guy who had come from South Korea. I loved it when they fell in love and he tore his ticket and all that stuff. I like that subplot a lot.
Okay, so I think we all agree that the supporting cast was definitely one of the strongest that I've seen. Favorite characters other than the leads, okay, other than Yoon Seri and Captain Ree, who were your favorites? Mine, I think, was Dan. I think because I also love the way she dressed. I don't know, I thought it just was really cool, and she was just so bindas, right? Like, I feel like she was like this, even though she knew that he doesn't like her and all of that, she was still like, I think, like, even when she was insecure, she didn't show it. She was quite cool.
She
like,
was
as
cool.
in, I didn't start with liking her. Like, I remember actually talking to Nand on the phone and saying, she was like, you will like Dan. And I was like, no, I don't like her.
And this is Dan's mother. She's awesome.
Dan's mother was amazing.
That was my answer.
So Masoom, you love Dan's mother.
My favorite character, Dan's mom, and that drunk villager. That drunk villager who like...
Oh, yeah.
She was just epic. And she was just so candid. She was amazing.
Pooja, yours?
I actually really like the character of the rat, like the soldier.
Yeah.
You could see his struggle through, all like his commitment to his job versus what, was morally correct. And I think that, eventually in the end, when you see that he switched over, that little victory, I feel for me was really something that I enjoyed watching.
Like, you feel like there's good in the world, like when you see him.
Yeah, you're like, okay, Chal, he's made the right choice. You're like, I hope he does this, I hope he does it. And then he does it and you're like, okay.
I love Dan. I absolutely loved her. Like, I didn't start off liking her either. But, and I liked her mom. But I also, although they had a very small role, I liked Captain Ree's parents. I thought it was like because of them that the two of them got to be together eventually. So I was a bit worried that, his father would put his foot down and all. But I was very happy that he allowed them to be.
Okay, now something that a lot of people online have discussed. Okay, guys, I have, like, after watching CLOY, I did like the BTS videos, I did like the conspiracy videos, I did everything. Okay, so this is like what's on the internet.
I'm really sorry, Sherry, to do this to you.
You've opened up a whole world, bro. I'm like, where have I reached now? So, there's a lot of people that feel like it's unrealistic. I'm someone who's been to Seoul. I've been to the DMZ. I've heard actual stories of families, who got like family members on either side and they don't talk and they can't talk and all of that. And it's really unrealistic. So if you watch the show and you watch a lot of reactions of North Korean defectors, they will say that that the village life and all portrayed is true to an extent, but in reality this could never happen. So what are your thoughts on that? I mean, I'm quite amazed that despite knowing that, like for someone like me who's been there, like I've actually been to the DMZ, and that's why I also related a lot to the show, because I was like, oh my god, I've been here, oh my god, I know this, oh my god, I know that. But I still fell for the plot, right? Like even though I knew that in reality there's no chance you can run over the border like this and people are like shooting and all, like it's not happening. But we were still so invested. What are your thoughts on that? Pooja, you want to go first?
I think in reality, I mean, none of it felt real to me, like in that aspect. So in my head, I knew that it was a story of sorts, right? So I never really looked at it from a lens of, will this, politically, does it pan out or does it seem accurate? To me, it was like, okay, theek hai, it's happening now. You're not going to, if I started questioning everything, then none of the, them meeting in Switzerland and him actually, her being the one to take their photographs. Like then if I start questioning, I question everything.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, just question nothing. Just enjoy it.
Yeah, no, and honestly, I also feel like we are coming from Bollywood.
Exactly.
The world of Bollywood. Like, who are we to question realism?
agree.
Like, this is way off the better end of the spectrum, So there's nothing that way, honestly, if you think about it. But there was that moment when Ree walked into Seoul. I was like, okay, this is
like through that tunnel.
that moment did feel like a little bit like, but I was like, who cares? I've seen worse.
Yeah, I mean, I think you get so invested that you don't care anymore, right? Like, Nand, was that the same for you? Like, you stopped, like...
Yeah, I mean, not for a moment did I think it was, going to be a real thing or anything. And like you said, Bollywood is good enough to show us that. But
and you love it.
I love it. And also, Game of Thrones was so addictive.
That's
and
true.
I mean, we didn't really think that was real life. So I just like to watch it and just believe for that moment it was real, but I didn't.
I mean, I think that also adds to the addiction, because it's not so real, right? Like, because we're all living in that fantasy of hoping that this could happen to somebody, even though it's not really.
It's
happening.
complete escapism. Like, for me, it's
even
like
the love story. I mean, sorry to say, but it is.
No,
like,
don't do that, please.
I mean, as happy as I am, I feel like you have to travel to another planet to experience that kind of love.
Okay, hold that thought. That is actually the most asked question on the K-drama group, okay? Like, I asked everyone in the group, there are like over 2,000 people already on the group, and I asked them to ask some questions that we could discuss. The most important is the ending. Like, everybody is like, well, how do you feel about the ending? And do you not feel like it was odd? Do you not feel like, why are they meeting for just 2 weeks in a year? How are they ever going to get married? Or what is the deal with this ending? Or what would your ideal ending be? So yeah, go Masoom, come on, answer all those questions.
I'll be honest, I was really prepared for a sad ending. So anything I got, I was pleasantly surprised, because that build-up was just so strong and so many tears, and I was like, my heart is breaking. So anything they gave me was actually better than the worst kind of situation that I was expecting. But at the same time, I mean, my husband watched the finale with me, and he's just like, what the hell is this? Right? And firstly, I hated that outsider perspective. I was like, you don't watch the entire show. I don't want your inputs right now, because like I'm really invested into this at this moment. But I was just happy to get something out of it, I think.
But if you could change the
But
ending,
my
how would you
ideal
change
ending?
it?
My ideal ending would just be that, like, I don't know, like they all moved to Seoul, and they like, all the soldiers moved with them, and they all live like this big one, like one big happy family. That was pretty much what I wanted.
Pooja, what about you?
So I completely agree with Masoom. I was prepared for them to be separated. So the fact that they could even meet, and they could meet for 2 weeks every year, it was great. For me, ideally, it would be amazing if they just moved to Switzerland, both of them. Like, just
But
happily ever
the screw up would be Captain Ree would never be able to see his parents or family. Like they'd all have to defect for him to be able to do this, which was the reason why I think this
I
was.
know. But it's okay. He could go he could go back like maybe once every few
You
months.
can't go back if you defect. You there's no
I mean,
way.
is any of this accurate? Could he even leave for 2 weeks? I'm sure there would be a loophole that they would figure out.
Yeah.
Nand, what about you?
I, for some reason, I don't know, I didn't. I felt really happy watching the last episode. Like maybe that I don't remember clearly what I was feeling before it, but I was really happy. In fact, I watched it again and again because I found it so beautiful, so beautiful. And maybe if they started living together and like they would start fighting and stuff. So I feel like this was really nice. Like they were just this boyfriend and girlfriend. Yeah, and innocent and like still discovering each other. And it was for a few years. I'm sure it would have worked out, and then they'd have settled in Singapore. I mean, Switzerland. I was waiting. I thought there'd be another season.
All right. So first question for you, Masoom, by Riya Trivedi. It's a long one, okay? But basically, to sum it up, is she's asking, do you think Captain Ree owes Dan an apology? Like he was rude to her or like unfair to her?
Yeah. I think he was really unfair to her only because I think he never gave her a chance. He never tried to get to know her, and this was not at a time that Yoon Suri was in the picture. So it was absolutely without reason, and I felt like I understand that he was going through a lot and there was a lot of pain in his life, but I think there was that side to him which was ignorant towards Dan, and I always felt that. But obviously, that romanticized like him and Yoon Suri all the more, right? Because it just like he couldn't contain it in for her,
Yeah.
but he could like so well just ignore Dan. So yeah, definitely agree.
Okay, Harini asks, what are your fan theories about the ending for Seo Dan and Seung Jung couple, the two that you love, the supporting couple? What would your ideal end be for them?
I guess that they both left together and got married. Like I really wanted them to be together until the end.
Okay, this one's interesting. Pooja, okay, Shalini says that she loved Captain Ree's boys and how they stood by him throughout, including when they went to the south and had to adapt and all of that. And it kind of changes the perspective on the otherwise uptight, close, mean personality that North Koreans usually have, right? So what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I definitely really fell in love with all those boys. To me, even in the end, when they're all sitting together or like through it all, right? Like when they go to the house and they're all eating noodles together and all of that, just seeing that relationship build over all the episodes was really heartwarming. And yeah, when they reach Seoul and you saw them transform and they start wearing all these different clothes and how like even simple things in the supermarket excite them.
The fried chicken.
Yeah, the fried chicken. Oh my God, I get so hungry every time I watch this show. But I think it was truly heartwarming, and I can't comment on what North Koreans are supposed to be like. But
no, I think she means in the show, like the rest of them were perceived as really like uptight and mean or like fierce. But these boys obviously had this really soft side.
They were also in the beginning a little bit, mean. Like there was some meanness in their character, which slowly you saw with her soften, and the way they were so protective of her as well, and how they rushed to her to help her at any given point. So yeah, I definitely the love story was one angle, but this whole friendship and this whole like how they protect their captain and her was the other one. And
the loyalty, like that loyalty really came through.
Like it truly, for me, the ideal end would be that they all could be together. So I would have liked to see that.
Okay, so there's this really interesting thread on the chat. Okay, there are a lot of people who've spoken about it, basically talking about this 2-week situation of how can you say this 2 weeks and was it just 2 weeks? I don't understand. So I'm going to take that one because I feel like since I've been there and I've heard real stories, as I said earlier, I don't think this would have realistically been possible. Like it's not something you would have seen. Like if you watch a lot of these fan theories by North Korean defectors, they say this is not possible in real life. Like they would have both been dead. Like it's not possible. So I think that is the reason why they picked this kind of an ending, to kind of keep it realistic, where at least there's some angle of that they are meeting, but it's not like they've either left their family, or also I think because that would have been a bit harsh, right, to say that Captain Ree would have to leave his family to be with her, or that choice had to be made and whatever, which would have been, I think, terrible, which is why I think they picked this neutral Switzerland ending of, you know, they come for 2 weeks, and that is why he quit the army to be part of the you know, the symphony group, and then that he could come, because again, if you have to leave North Korea, from what I've read, you need proper reason to leave the country, even if you're a citizen. Like, so I guess this gives him the reason to go for that annual concert that they do and meet and whatever. So I think the end was really thought out, honestly. Like, I know a lot of people might be confused by it, or might not be like, why couldn't they just be together? Like a good old love story. But I think they wanted to make it a little realistic, to say that this is how it would be if, in a best case scenario, also if they had to meet, they would have to do it like this. Like that's how I see it, at least.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. And I actually, honestly, it was just, I felt that it tied in very well, like everything, the way they met there for the first time, and you know, like Switzerland was such an important part of their whole journey, and then
Yeah.
like I think it just like tied it up very
Yeah.
well.
Don't you think, like, what if they just ended it with like how everything is really not very realistic in this show, that North Korea finally opened up?
But that's what the aim was. So if you see the BTS of the show, actually, if you see the behind the scenes stuff, like I have, guys, you've not done your research. Everywhere, every actor is saying no fighting, because their aim as South Korea is to say that we want to be one unified nation and we don't want to fight. That would have been ideal, yeah, I guess. I mean, that would have been like a really rosy ending. But I think that also, that at this point, because it's so unrealistic, I guess that's why they thought this was a more realistic ending. Like, I guess.
And maybe like ... until North Korea opens up.
Also, I feel like, I know they don't usually have a part 2 or a season 2 in K-dramas. It's usually just one, but there's a petition online for people asking for like season 2 of CLOY, because it was that good. Yes. And
have you signed the petition?
Yes, I have. And I think that this also gives them the scope to do that, right? Like, because you're still questioning at the end. You're not like, oh my god, ho gaya khatam, mil gaye, bacche ho gaye, shaadi ho gayi. It's not like that. You're like, will they get married? Will they have kids? How will this life work out? So I think that there's still scope for like a season 2. So I think that was also the intention. Like, in my head, I'm hoping that was the intention. Okay, time to rate. First up, story. I'm going to rate it a 9.
Yeah.
9.5.
8.5. Yeah, 8.5.
Asum?
9.
Okay, acting. I'm going to give it a 10 because of the, like, it was just so good.
11.
10 as well for me.
Yeah, 10 here.
Chemistry. I'm going to give it a 15, people.
11.
Yeah, the best I've ever seen.
Yeah, same.
So what would you guys give it?
10. Full points.
10? None? 10?
Yeah, I mean like 15, like you said, or 20 or whatever.
So casual.
Okay, music. Now, music is obviously a big part of K-drama. I think this is my favorite. I've been through all, so I'm going to give it a 10. Like, Flower is my favorite song. Like, I love Flower.
Like, what is the point of this rating round? Because we are either 10,
Yeah, we're
11
like 10 or 15. Or
Yeah, really. We love it, basically.
We love it. 100 on 100.
Okay, next one, guys. This one you will like. It's the Man Meter, the Korean Man Meter. I'm going to give it 100 on 10 because I think like Hyun Bin is like the ideal man. And I think I'm speaking for all of
For
you, right?
sure.
Like,
No, listen, I didn't feel it for myself. I was happy for them.
No, but
But
you don't want
I
him
didn't
in your
have a crush
life?
on. No. I
No,
mean,
don't be ridiculous, Nan. No.
dude, I didn't feel it. I really didn't.
So what would you rate him on the Man Meter?
I
And disappoint the whole world.
I'm sure he's great as a K-man, but I didn't feel attracted to him or anything. That's why I was so surprised when you were so into him.
So what would you rate him? Pressure's on you now.
Like 5. Sorry, I'm gonna have a lot of.
No.
I was just happy for them. I didn't feel like I wanted to be involved in this.
Masu,
Sherry scared about this.
You agree with my 100 rating or I'm gonna give you guys a chance because I thought everyone was as obsessed with him.
No, I'll give you my perspective, right? So for me, I'm just generally not like a fangirl. For me, it's really hard to be attracted to people I don't know. Like it's really hard. I'm just generally not a fangirl of like anyone in Hollywood, Bollywood, anything at all. But so what I fell in love with is his character. Like I fell in love with his character, but I mean, like I would, even if I saw him somewhere, I would go crazy because he's from CLOY. I wouldn't go crazy.
You guys have disappointed me.
I'm with you, Sherry.
I'm so disappointed, guys. Like,
but I feel maybe I'm not a fangirl either. Maybe that's
but
what.
I'm not a fangirl either by nature. But I just watching
come on, you love Lewis Hamilton. You're crazy.
But just for Hyun Bin and Lewis Hamilton, 2 men in the whole world, I'm allowed, guys. Like, I mean.
No, and what about Nadal?
I don't like Nadal as much. No.
But you like him.
He's like, okay. Nah, not like
I'm gonna
Hyun
pick
Bin
out
level.
secrets. I know everything.
No, so I'm just generally
what are
like,
your
it's just a
thoughts?
personality trait.
My personality trait is a full fangirl, so I can't anybody.
So you agree with the 100 rating? Please tell me
Yes,
that.
100%. Full on. I'm with you.
Okay, so majority wins. It's 110. Sorry, girls. We're just moving on. This is just really disappointing. Rating the ending. Okay, I would give it a 6 because I didn't love the ending.
I loved it.
I loved it.
I loved it.
4.
So what would you all rate it?
4.
Pooja?
9.
I'd give it full points. I was happy. I finished the show very happy. Like I was satisfied.
Like you were happy that they get to see each other.
Yeah,
For
I was
2
like,
weeks
this is
tonight.
yeah. They like she said it was going to get bad eventually later, so it's good. Like,
Need something
Even
to
though-
be got.
Even though I know the answer to this last one, either you have to say watch the show or skip the show. I think we're all going to collectively say it. So should we answer it? 1, 2, 3.
watch the
Watch
show.
the show.
Oh,
Thank you guys for doing this with me. And I feel like there are more people in the world watching K-drama, and it's so important for us to connect and talk about it. And Nandini, please swear right now that you're going to watch another show.
I will recommend something short, and I'm going to do it for sure.
There's no short K-drama.
okay, bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Sherry.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Guys, we gotta do it.